Hi guys, welcome to another video. Now this one is just about, well, something I haven't tried yet, but I thought the Formula 2.5 F1 wheel, it's holding up well considering I've used it quite a bit now. I've had it for about 6 months and it's had quite a lot of use. I've always used it with gloves, and I only use it with gloves that don't get used on other wheels, so there's no dirt transfer. So just as an example, the Porsche wheel I was using last week, that's got the suede finish, so I use gloves that I only use with that, because if you use it with your hands go black. So if you were to use that gloves on that and then use it on this, it would probably transfer some of the black to this. So this has its own gloves that only get used on this wheel, and I don't know how well that this is going to come up, but if I get that close, the areas where your thumb sits, they're starting to go dark. If I move it over, might be able to see it's starting to get dark there. So I thought, let's give it a clean, because I want to try and keep this in top condition, because it is my favourite wheel. You know, I absolutely love it, aside from it being a bit too small for my hands, but that's just me. So anyway, I've watched a few different videos on, people doing it different ways. So one is a brush that's suitable for it. So this is like the kind of brush you get. This is for alcantara, but it just feels like the same sort of bristles that you'll get for one that cleans shoes. So as long as you use a new one that hasn't been used on anything else, this should do the trick. Because it doesn't really get so much dirty. The thing with alcantara is that it becomes knotted or matted. If you think of like your hair, if you've got long hair, because I used to have long hair when I was younger, and I had to brush it all the time and take care of it to keep it from becoming knotted and messy, and that's kind of what this does. So I mean, you can just give it some gentle brushes up and down, and it'll, you know, just, you do this regularly and it'll just try and keep it neat. Just think of it like brushing your hair. But I want to actually give this a clean. So I've got a couple of microfiber cloths, and then this, I have a lot of car cleaning gear for looking after my car, and this is Auto Bright's Alcantara cleaning spray. So I've not used it before. I thought I'd get a bottle of this. There's lots of different products out there. I mean, some people use just soapy water to do this. Well, I thought I'd try and pick up something that's made specifically for it. And all the Auto Bright stuff tends to smell nice, so it'll probably even smell good after this. Okay, so like with this brush, I can't really get in here to get the thumb area. And it's the thumb area that really has started to bother me, where I've noticed that it's starting to go dark. So this is one of my detailing brushes. It's one that I haven't used on the car or anything, so it's nice and clean. There's not going to be any dirt or any sort of contamination on there. It's quite soft. I was thinking of getting an electric toothbrush for it, because I have a spare electric toothbrush that I use for detailing my wheels on my car. I know that might sound weird, but it means you can get into different areas, and yeah, I'm a bit obsessive like that. But hopefully, just when you spray this on, you need to be quite gentle with it and just gently work it in, and then leave it to sit for a minute and then wipe it dry. So like you just agitate it with a nice soft brush like this, just going around it, and hopefully it'll come up. Hopefully it'll look a little cleaner than it does now. We'll see. If not, then I'll try other things as well. So let's start now. I'll use that one for drying it, and so what we want to do is just, here we go. It does smell nice, kind of like apples. Alright, so I'm just going to gently just wrap the alcantara with the spray. Get into the thumb area as well, because that's the important bit. It's the harder to get to part. Do the same with this side. Don't need to put loads of pressure on it or anything, just a good once over, just working it back and forward. There we go. Okay, so let's let that sit for a minute. That's the wet one. And yeah, spray it onto a microfiber cloth and lightly work it into the surface, taking care not to apply too much pressure when doing so. Once clean, wipe dry with a lint-free towel or a microfiber cloth. For alcantara steering wheels, consider application and agitation with a soft detailing brush. So that's where this will means we can get into the thumb area with this. In fact, let's just give this just a little spray on the brush actually, because then that'll help us get into all the areas. And these outside parts around the back here that I'm doing now, that's quite dirty looking as well, so give it another little spray. Okay. Yep, so doesn't look any different yet, but when it's dried and then I give it a good brush with that, hopefully it'll look a little better. Right, so give it a good dry now. I mean, this isn't going to completely dry it, it'll need to air dry for a while. Actually, this side's looking quite a bit better. Let's give this side a bit more of a you can see it's still slightly matted. Again, I'm not giving too much pressure, I'm just working the surface. Just back and forth. Yeah, it's going to be wet for a while. Okay, so straight away I can see that's looking cleaner. The inside parts where the thumb are still a little discoloured, but it's still wet, so once it's dry and I get the dry brush on there, hopefully that'll look a bit better. So hopefully this will turn out alright. If it does, the thumbnail will probably show a clean wheel. Hopefully. So I'll come back in a bit. I'll let this, this is going to be dry for a while now. I'll let this sit there and dry, and then I shall come back and show you what it looks like. So, see you in a moment. Good morning, and this is the day after I gave it a little bit of a clean, the Alcantara, and it's come up pretty good. The blue around here, where your palm usually is, it's come a bit, it's a little darker now. So there's still a few bits. I need to go over it a little bit stronger today. So if I show you that, you can see it's a bit darker than yesterday, but you see around the back in particular, where your thumb and finger grip, that's where you grip it the hardest, you'll see it looks a different shade. Under that light it kind of looks white or lighter. That's where it's less fluffy, because it's kind of, you can feel it's kind of flattened out and it's still a bit dirty. So I'm going to continue to I'm going to give it another bit of a scrub, but I'm going to be a bit more forceful with it. It's stronger than you think, Alcantara, and if you've got a particularly dirty one, then some people will use a steamer to steam the dirt out of it, and then like the very last stage of the worst looking wheels is to, it sounds weird, but you can use, say, 1000 grit sandpaper, and that gets rid of any bobbling that's occurred on it. So you get rid of that, and then you can get like Cube Controls do a brush that's like a shoe scrubbing brush that's a combination of metal bristles and plastic, and that will be the final stage after that to lift up the hair, basically. I'm not going to do any of that because this isn't that bad. It's just me keeping on top of it, you know, quite regularly. So we've got a fresh, clean one for drying, and then that's got some like bobbles on it. So this is the one. Okay. So I'm going to put quite a healthy amount of the cleaner on the wheel now. I'm going to do the whole thing again. I'm going to concentrate a little more on the thumb and forefinger area where you grip the top of the wheel, because that's the bit that's going to get the most dirty on a Formula style wheel. Okay. Let's do this side. So I'm rubbing it more firmly now than I did on its initial clean, particularly getting into the thumb area. Okay, so they're nicely soaked now. I should have shown we didn't have some white microfiber cloths, because then we could see any dirt that gets transferred, but that's just what I've got. Okay, so now they're so suitably wet, get the scrubbing brush, spray some of that on it, and now rather than using the soft detailing brush, give it a good scrub with this, using more pressure than I did before. Okay, get that suede. And then concentrate on the area at the back of the wheel. Right there. Okay, so you can see they're kind of, it's kind of getting a little bit soapy now because I've put a good amount on it. So this should be cleaner when it dries. So I'm gonna dry it like this. Put a decent amount of pressure in there. Okay, so I can actually see dirt coming off this now. You can visibly see some dark areas. This should look much better when it's dried now. Just give it another bit of a wipe. Okay. And straight away I can see a difference there, but it's going to look a little darker while it's damp anyway, so looks like got quite a bit of dirt from it then. So I would just, if yours is like this, then I would start just with a little bit more gentle, just give it a spray and then use a soft detailing brush and then dry it. But then if there's still some marks like there are on this, then just kick it up a notch, go a little bit firmer, use more of the cleaner. I mean, a lot of people just use soapy water. You don't have to use a particular cleaner for it. I just like to detail things. I'm like that with detailing my car. I love to make the extra bit of effort to, you know, it becomes an obsession, but it's a good obsession. Right, so let's see how well you can see that. The colour looks much more uniform now. So I'm not completely finished there. So the final step, I'm going to give this brush a wash, get the cleaner off it, and then when this is dried, I'll use a dry brush then to just give it a good scrub back and forth, and just to lift the hair. And I'll probably pick up one of them Cube Controls little tiny brushes, because then you can properly get the hair up inside here. It's hard to get that brush in there. So yeah, I'll pick up one of them, and I'll let you know what it's like. But yeah, so I'll leave this here now, and then I'll come back shortly when it's dry, and then I'll show it you when I've given it its last scrub with a dry brush. So as soon as this is dry, I shall be back, and I'll see you shortly. And we're back. So it's been about 6-7 hours since I gave this that proper clean, and now it's nice and dry. Smells good too. It looks quite a bit better, so I'm quite happy with how this is now. I'd like to get in the holes a little more, but I'll need a smaller brush. That's I'll get hold of the Cube Controls one. It's about 10 quid, and then that'll let me get properly in there. And it still looks better even with just going in there with my finger on with the cloth. So I don't know how well you can see it because the lighting, it's quite hard to show the light with the lighting in here. But it's looking much better. I've given it a real good brush, just some up and down movements, just to just to lift the hair, and looks pretty great. I wish I had another one here, a brand new one, not touched, so I could just compare them over time, but I don't, and you can't get these anymore anyway. So yeah, that's it. So I'm going to chuck it on the rig now, and yeah, it's going to be nice having a cleaner looking and cleaner smelling wheel. So I'll do the same thing again. I'll do it every few months, and over time we can just see it as it changes. Hopefully it won't deteriorate much, and I'm going to contact Fanatec to see if you're able to buy another set of these off them. That'd be another good way of comparing them as as they go. But yeah, that's how I'm going to repeatedly do this now. Every time it starts to look a bit manky, I'm just going to use this cleaner and some cloths and brushes. And then the next time I do it, I'll get hold of that Cube Controls brush, and then that should let me get right in here properly. So around the back it looks pretty spot on as well. It's hard to really see with this lighting, but it's just looking on my phone now. See, there's still a tiny bit of a light bit there that I could have done a little better. Now that I can see it's dried, there's a slightly different colour patch there, but still it's a lot better than what it was. So if you've got something that looks a lot worse than this, I mean, this will work with suede as well. It's the same kind of material. The same cleaning methods, and then there's quite a few guides online for cleaning really bad ones using 1000 grit sandpaper and a steamer, if things get that bad. If you've got a black wheel, it's going to start to look just kind of grey. The Porsche wheel I've got there, that hasn't changed yet. It's still as black as when I first got it, but yeah, over time that'll start going grey, and then that's when that'll need the same thing doing to it. So you're just restoring the black, with one of them. When you start cleaning it, it'll go darker and darker. The cleaner that you get it, and the better you get the fibres to, the hair to lift. So yeah, that's about it really. I hope this has been of some use to you. I couldn't find a video online of anyone doing it with a Fanatec wheel, so I thought, well, I need to clean it, so I may as well just do this. And then if anyone's looking for this specific video like I was, then yeah, hopefully this is useful to someone. So yeah, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you soon.